Welcome back to H-Lock Gaming. In today's video, we're going to react to the Kojiki Have Landed video that Fateless just posted. Let's take a look. Here we go.
Hey guys, this is Simon from Fateless. Today we've got one of the final videos of the year. It's basically that time of year when a lot of the team take a week or so break, recharge, enjoy some time with their friends and family, and then come back for next year for a massive push for basically the year of Godforge, right? It's going to be the year of the beta, the year of the launch, and all those things. So in this video, what I want to show you is some of the work we've been doing in our beautiful corner, which is basically a new map piece that has been put into game, in build, and gives really a seal of quality over what we're looking for, any maps, any kind of in-engine shots going forward. I also want to show you some new 2D concepts that have come through, which are really interesting, and the way we're using our kind of like new free reign really over body types to really up the ante on that stuff. And then I've got a very cool 3D new one to show you as well, which looks absolutely sweet. So let's dive in. We've got Unryo here, who is a rare character from the...
So they actually posted just this picture yesterday. I was going to make a video on it today, but then I saw this video, so I thought I'll just do a reaction to the video instead. If possible, once rigged and animation or animated, the head could tilt it. Okay. I like this gown. I wonder if these are a pattern or like tassels. They look almost like tassels on, yeah, the symbol. So that'll be cool. Okay, let's keep listening. Looks good initially though, right? Eyes look kind of crazy. I don't know if she's like a spirit or something, but cool.
The Kojiki faction. We're starting to really flesh out the Kojiki faction right now, and oh, I love this faction so much. Honestly, I love this faction so much. This is such a cool vibe of a hero right here. On Ryu, as I say, a rare. When I saw the first concept, I was like, this has got to be a legendary. Like, the visual is so good. It's almost got like the ring vibes, you know, someone crawling out the TV, that type of thing. But yeah, I love this kind of like spooky look. You got the claws coming through.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that. Claws. Huh, okay. So I was thinking kind of a magic unit, but claws could be a melee unit. Okay.
Love, honestly, the colors and the patterns in the dress, or it's obviously not called a dress, but whatever these things are called, the robe type of thing. I love the kind of like vibes around, maybe we could just tilt the head down, give her this kind of cold stare. Yeah, really, really cool. So Onryo looking really great for the Kojiki here. We then had, interestingly, first version of, look, you've got free reign on body type. So let's change it up. So this is Ashigaru, who will also be in the Kojiki faction. Just a common hero, so you know, almost like the standard bearer for the
That's cool.
Kojiki faction. So we then looked at some of the mood boards that we were kind of working with, and we're like, well, hold on a minute. The body type is not fitting this dude. He's not absolutely shredded ripped, okay? And we're thinking, look, I think we can change this up. So yeah, you know, the right sort of height and stuff like that was working, but there's absolutely no way he needed to be so shredded. So yeah, again, we went back in and we're like, look, let's now use the fact that our rigs can be adapted way more easily. As long as you keep the bone joint points in the same position, we can adapt stuff. So we were like, well, you know, what could we do with the absolutely shredded male heroic rig here? Well, we could slim it right down.
Okay. Reduce muscle mass, smooth out most of the muscles and tone, reduce the veins. Huh, okay. So that's what they were doing, and then, okay, all right.
To slim it right down, you know, shoulder points are still basically in the same place. It's not going to affect us from a rigging point of view, but it will give us a very different aesthetic. So we've taken that on board, and then it's like, right, version 2.
Oh, I see,
Feels
okay.
way better, way closer to the final piece that we want. And this is now what we're trying to do with our art team. It's like, we want diversity in character visuals, okay, as much as we can without costing the absolute earth, okay? And that's important as well. We have to be able to actually release this game. So there's a number of things we're doing here. in terms of kit bashing. So there's pieces that we're using from other characters that we've already made, but they're not being used in the same way all the time. And so it's not just a reskin of a character we've made. They're all unique characters, but we're being just clever with some of the pieces that we've made. We'll retexture those pieces anyway. So there's absolutely like zero chance you would know it's the same unless you watch this video, honestly. But we're now going to have Ashigaru here created in 3D, which will be quite fast because of all of the reuse of.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he was talking about reuse. I don't know if they've shown, however you say this character, Tomi Gozen, the samurai. I think that's just like a rare they have shown. We've seen Musashi, so we've seen his feet, but I don't know if we've seen this character. So we know at least something this character is gonna wear, I think.
Stuff, and he will feel more like he should do in terms of his visual and his lore and that type of stuff. There's actually a really good example of us doing that, or I guess showcasing that in terms of what we could do with the giant rig as well. So it's like one rig,
Okay.
but I mean, these are not characters from the game, by the way, but this was Dane
Oh,
just doing a
that
drawing to
sucks.
say, look,
I don't know what this is. I think that the helmet and the eyes are here, but at first I thought this was like a weird giant cyclops. That'd have been cool. And then this is, I don't know, some Jack Skeletor looking dude. But yeah, if there was some weird cyclops thing in the game, that'd be cool, right? That's from mythology. Cyclopses go with the, I can't remember the name of the faction, but the same one where they have Zeus and Hercules.
one rig could feel extremely different when you create the characters, and they're all going to be using the same rig proportions, but they will look and feel very unique. Obviously, he's done like an alien dude here and all sorts, but it does give a really
Oh,
good
alien.
kind
Okay.
of like
So those are the
profiling
eyes,
of
probably lower.
why these kind of art leads are pushing in the way they are, because we can do some really cool stuff, honestly, just with the same initial designs. So really like that. Right, let me show you one more. No, I just went into like a 3D that's being made, which is Kate Sif here. So it's another one of our creatures.
Okay. So kind of combination between a cat and a wolf, sort of. And then based on this, like, look here, I think that is still going to be part of the Kajiki. I wonder, though, if this is a playable character that you'll actually be able to. I wish I could zoom in there. See what that says. Might give us more of an indicator. I hope they do have creatures you can play eventually, because so far all we've seen is humanoid type characters. You know, we've seen a satyr, which is, you know, part goat, but still a humanoid, you know, walks on two legs, two arms, that type of thing. So I do hope, though, we get some creatures we can play in the game.
Michaela does our creature design, and she is absolutely phenomenal. So this was like the initial concepting that was done. And you can see here, just on day 2, this is day 2, basically molding clay. That's what I would say the kind of like
Looks
block
cool.
out phase is.
You can really see the,
just
like,
starting to get the right
striations
shapes
of
in
the
place.
muscles under the
Obviously,
skin.
there's a whole bunch more to do, but
You know what this reminds me of is the statue of David. Who carved that? Was it Michelangelo? He actually dissected bodies to get the muscle correct, like under the skin. If you ever go and take a look at like up close photos of it, it's pretty interesting, and to see them capture that type of detail here is pretty cool to see. I have to see how it looks in game, you know, once they render it.
that's what was an interesting one. I do love it when the creatures start to come through as well. So yeah, Michaela doing a great job here. This was a new character that Maraid wanted to see, but might not make it into the game. Anyway, let's look at one more concept, and then I'll show you a finished 3D. So this here is Volk Old Lack. Oh, wow. I'm going to struggle with names. I'm going to tell you that now. Heavily struggle with names for most of the rest of my life when it comes to what we're doing.
I feel that.
It's intense. I'm not going to lie. Okay, let's go into the mood board here for Volkalak.
I assume
So
this
he's gonna
won't
be
be
in the Slavic
Kajiki.
faction, a brawler. a rare hero. Says here, inspired by Slavic mythology, where he embodies the figure of a werewolf or a shapeshifter.
Yeah, I assume this won't be Kajiki, and also this is a new character reveal, uh, a rare. Sorry, I forgot for a second, but initial thoughts. Yeah, I'm digging this kind of a werewolf rogue character. That could be pretty cool. You know, maybe rabies will be a skill in game. I don't know what it'll do. You know, incapacitate in some fashion, possibly, or damage life, or maybe like a weakened skill.
Associated with chaos, darkness, and wilderness, known to transform under certain conditions. Volkalak prowls the shadows, sowing fear and confusion amongst his enemies. So, pretty cool. We've got like some references around VFX that can be done. This is how we do a lot of our kind of like design mood boards, I guess. Just some like
Yeah, this looks like WoW to me. I think that's right from. I think that's from WoW, also a cinematic. This looks like Diablo. I don't know, maybe Immortal? I'm not sure, but it looks like Diablo. And these other ones are actually pictures just from different stuff. Although this looks like also uh that one area in WoW, I can't remember. I haven't played WoW in a long time. I did like check out some of the free weekends, like when they let you try the new area, and I think this is just not concept art, but like art they put on the website of one of those areas many years ago when they released it.
elements that we could call out, basically doing that kit bashing thing, elements where we might be able to reuse some stuff that we've already done. And then there's just some like really cool vibes here around, you know, elements.
Oh, this could be cool here because these two look at transforms. That could be a cool aspect. Kind of similar to what I was saying on my Dracula video of when he moves between stages, if he like turns into a group of bats and then reforms. And if not the character when you get him, at least like the main boss fight when he comes in, a swarm of flittering bats that turn into him or something. So yeah, transformation stuff could be pretty cool.
That we want to bring into the game. You can see the kind of like the shape shifting vibe, obviously loads of different werewolf shots, that sort of thing. Assets that we already have made or own that we might be able to reuse if we want to. Again, rares, uncommons, commons get probably a lot more reuse, whereas epics and legendaries get a lot more just like one-off unique items. But again, you can see the sort of vibe that's being made here, and also some different like references that the team will use. This is actually Esther, but yeah, the references that are being used to try and create the vibe that we wanted. So it's very cool. So once the mood board has been done, then sort of move on to initial concepts in here. Again, we were like, do we want to go straight werewolf, or is there going to be some sort of...
Look at that symbol. Wonder what that represents. That's pretty cool looking. I guess we'll see later. He shows more stages. I did kind of look this over quickly. He shows more stages. I don't remember if that's a faction symbol or not, but if it is, that could be kind of cool if it's I don't know what you want to call that, branded into his chest almost like he's indebted to that faction or something.
clothing as well, or like this jacket. Very, very cool. So Dane then jumps in. He's like, the coat and no coat versions are both pretty cool. Ultimately, I think the coat one works a bit better for the faction. I do like the layers though, with the white shirt. So yeah, just giving some feedback. So again, then Esther kind of comes up with a next version, just gives you the kind of like side profile as well, because it's going to be using the same rig that we're
That
actually
looks
using
really
for
good.
satire. So yeah, this kind of like creature rig, but obviously from the front feels a bit more humanoid, I guess. Again, bit more work, bit more kind of like referencing around some different elements that we can...
Okay, interesting. So they can kind of use stuff from the satyr, which makes sense, right? Kind of still humanoid, but part animal. Viking pants. Okay. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's cool. Satyr arm guard. Oh, that's the Minotaur. I didn't realize that. Okay. Yeah, you can see it now. Yeah, you can see the reuse of the mane there. That's pretty cool. And then the Dracula. Oh, Dracula cape accessory for belt. Okay. Oh, that's clever. Yeah, interesting. I like that. Looks very good so far. It seems like I'll be happy if this character is where I kind of want this character already.
Utilize with some kit bashing notes here. Dracula's cape, for example, but it's literally just like a small piece of it. That's the cleverness here. It just saves time. Arm guards, things like that. Viking pants, but you rip them up. Like it's just actually very clever. Blows my mind a lot of the time. And yeah, we end up with final design, which is really cool. So part of the Virage faction here.
So A, regular jaw. B, upper and lower incisor canine. Point outward. Point outward. Interesting. I like B, especially if they can do some type of transformation animation. It would look better to go to B, I think. Let me know down below what you guys think.
Which is like the Slavic based or those regions. Yeah, it's just kind of like this side profile jaw feel. Again, we're still deciding on whether we want to go for the kind of almost like the big overbite type of look or a bit more restrained. But very cool, very different to what we've seen so far. So I really like it. Often, if I see something come through and there's a choice of A or B, and B feels like something we've not seen so far in our designs, I'm like, let's have B, because I really like the idea of just diverse stuff. Last one I want to show you is a character you've seen before in 2D, which was CRS, now produced in 3D. So I just want to remind you of 2D,
Okay.
like initial concept
yes,
in
yes.
here, which is very sweet. Again, this is a rare from the Norse faction. Again, I really like this idea. I'm going to keep showing you this because it's so...
Yeah, let's take a look at this real quick. The reuse. Muse, I think we saw her a little bit in the video where they revealed the women of Godforge they had so far, so let's reuse of that. Lagatha, we have seen. She was one of the first reveals, and you can see they reused that. Hell. Okay, so they use the crown from the shoulders. They just resized it. Okay, that's pretty cool. Oh, from Odin. Okay. Artemis, yeah, we've seen her as well. Oh, and then Freya's hair. Okay. Yeah, that's cool to see how they do this. And I believe part of the reason they do this is so that essentially your game has to download less assets and run less things. I think it just makes the game easier to run overall.
Clever the way that the team are reusing assets from characters we've got, and sometimes it's so small. Okay, so it's like, oh yeah, we can reuse this little piece here to create this different texture, different color. We can reuse some of this kind of like shoulder material here. We can reuse some of the crystals from Hell here and here. It's just extremely cool. We can reuse this little bone thing from Artemis and put it here as a weapon. Like,
oh, it's a weapon.
very,
I just
very
thought it was
clever
like
use of our assets that we've already got.
part of the
And
armor,
as I say,
sort of.
in a way
Okay.
that people would not really know. And then she's kind of put some of the different tattooing for the artist to just have reference to when we get to the 3D stage. So we then get to Olga taking this one on. And Olga kind of produces the initial block out here. We start to get some colors in.
That looks great.
Again,
Hold
just
on, let's
kind of
pause it.
making sure.
Man, look at the fur in the necklace. Oh, and this part. That's really good looking. Yeah. Oh, and then there's the Odin's skulls. The skulls from Odin's armor. That's what I'm trying to say. And then the little weapon from I already forgot who we said. Artemis. Yeah, there you go. Okay.
Well, the proportions are good. The general feel is right. Starts to do a lot of work on the face, which honestly is very cool. I do love this one. Again, for a rare hero, lots of attention to detail.
Oh, look at the
Start to get
necklace.
some of that coloring done and really starting to...
let's go back for a second. Yeah, I don't think that's a necklace. I think that's holding the Shoulder pieces on. Okay. I like that. Oh, and the belt. Interesting. Nice, nice, nice. Oh, and even the wrist pieces. Oh, and on the man, I'm just like, the more I look, the more I see that looks cool. Okay, let's keep going.
Lots of attention to detail. Start to get some of that coloring
Can't
done
have
and
a
really
hour
start
long
to
video.
get the vibe right, front and back views here. Start to push things like the low poly, but now you start to really get
Okay. And look at the like frosted. I guess it's not frosted. I guess her hair's just white. So yeah, never mind. I was thinking, kind of symbolize she's in the cold, which it still makes you think that, but it's just the color of her hair, I believe.
feel. Look at the vibe we got going on here from
Oh, and even the
CRS.
forehead symbol. Okay.
Honestly, when you'll see the finished model in a minute. When I saw the finished model, I literally said to the guys, maybe we should make her one of the starter heroes because I liked it so much.
That's a good question. If you are familiar with some of the other rares we've seen, which hasn't been a ton, what character would you like to see as a starting character, or one that we've already seen would you like to see as a starting character? Let me know down below.
Like, it is really, really good vibe. And we end up, so obviously we go through things like low poly and a bake down, but we end up with this. Now, it's in a very cool kind of like dark.
Yeah, again, look at the connector for the armor. I don't know what you call that, but yeah. And then the little other attachment parts. Man, those eyes are super creepy. If you saw this person in real life, you would probably be wondering what the heck's going on and thinking, am I about to die? It kind of reminds me of the White Walkers from Game of Thrones, but better.
Dark setting and stuff like that, so we'll see it like this, I guess, sometimes in game. But yeah, just such a cool finished piece. Yeah, honestly one.
Oh man, look at all the leg tattoos or markings on the hands too, and with the bracelet. Man, I can't believe this is a rare. All that detail for just a rare. Should practically be a legendary with how great it looks. But I'll take it. Easier to get rares, right?
One of my favorite rares, at least, that we've seen so far. So look, let's boot up the game, and I just want to show you
this
the
is
beautiful
really
corner. Okay,
the
then here
part
we
I
go.
wanted to look at, see if they reveal anything extra,
every
kind
single
of this
day
new
now,
build.
which we can kind of poke around with.
I did see one
see
thing
the
when I was
changes
just
that are
looking
coming
quickly,
through.
I'll point out.
There's still kind of like the way it works with our builds. There's a like development arm, and then there's a.
So if you look where my mouse is, you see in the upper right energy, overflow energy, and non-recover energy. So I wonder if the non-recover energy is similar, say, to keys, like in Raid. So it just, well, it does recover, but not with time. Like you see here, full recovery in hour and minutes. So if it just resets daily and it's for certain events, I don't know if it's going to be for dungeons or something similar to clan boss, who knows, but that's kind of my guess there. And then obviously energy. And I wonder if overflow energy is part of sort of the catch-up mechanics that they briefly talked about before, and something I requested my Christmas wish list video. If you want to go check that out, I was saying have something like that in there, so if you want to take a weekend off, or maybe even up to a week if you're on vacation or something, so that could be related to that. But let's keep going and see what else they show us.
Live build kind of thing. We do have, by the way, our first test of being able to run the beta on iOS going on as well, which feels like it's a real
but not
positive
for us.
Test. So
he just means
a program
internally.
Called Test Flight that you're able to download on stuff like iPads or iPhones. And I was literally playing Godforge on my personal iPhone yesterday. So that's a really good sign for when we do the beta release next year. So most of the stuff you've seen, there's nothing really new here. We've got, we have changed a bunch of stuff in the back end of our system. So what we had to do actually was make stuff work again, and stuff that was already working. This is all.
So again, I'll point out that hammer coming down looking like Thor's hammer. So again, I think part of the main story is going to be related to the Asgard, as I've said in a few videos now. So let me know what you think down below. If that's a correct guess or you think it's going to be something else. But I'm going to pause it here because I believe he kind of shows the skills, which I want to look at.
At the moment, just kind of like filler, but
Yeah, here we go. Attack an enemy, 300% attack, has 15% chance to place Curse. So Curse, obviously a debuff for 2 turns. I do wonder, too, if these numbers are going to change, if they're just placeholders, if 300 attack will be too great. It all depends on how they scale things, right? Which is kind of hard to know at this point until you see it in game. Like I was saying for my Christmas Witch character I designed on my Christmas wish list video, you know, I was thinking give her a speed aura, and I was like, you know, what would I give her? 15%. But at this point, I don't know how good or bad 15% is. It could be way OP or way underpowered.
we do now have things.
Attacks all enemies, 250% attack. Damage increased by 10% if if target is under curse 1. Okay, so pretty clear here. Use on the foe you want to get down the quickest, your A1, then bust out your A2. And that's crazy too. Like, I know this is only a rare, but if the A1 is 300 and then you only have a 50% loss for an AoE, that could be a very strong skill. That's what I'm saying. I wonder if they'll scale these down, because if you're just one shot and everyone like AoE and this is a rare, that's like a Trunda level character, but a rare. I don't think they would allow that in terms of balancing.
Things like skills in here.
All right, the ultimate Serpent Strike. 1,000, huh? I wonder what that indicates there. 1,000 what? And 0 of this. Place Curse 2 on all enemies for 1 turn, then attack the enemies 300% attack. If this ability kills an enemy, fill the hero's turn meter by 50%. So if you kill 2 enemies, do you automatically get another turn? You know, 50% twice is 100%, or is it? If this ability kills an enemy, fill this hero's turn meter by 50%. So is that 50% of what's left, or 50% of the overall turn meter? So it's 50% overall turn meter. You kill 2 enemies, you're going again. Gain 20 divinity when hitting an enemy with a critical hit. Okay, that's probably divinity then. Gain 20 divinity when hitting an enemy with a critical hit. Okay, so obviously you want crit rate, I'm going to assume. But if you only get 20 for a crit hit and you cost 1,000, but that could be a placeholder as well. So that's going to be, yeah, I wonder about that skill. 50% of what's left, or 50% overall, because if there's it sounds like you could almost just keep cranking this out, unless you do need the 1,000 and you only get 20, then you couldn't do it over and over. But you would get another turn if you killed 2 enemies with this, which I don't think we've seen these skills before on Ramses. I believe, oh, it does say there. Yeah, he's a rare.
Yeah, we're just starting to, instead of faking it, it's now real. And beforehand, it was kind of like that summon process was going to like a fake screenshot rather than an actual character which joins your roster. Whereas now, I just picked up a new Ramses and I've got an extra copy of Ramses, for example. So a bunch of things which were kind of just fake for the demo are now real in game. Equally, the ability to upgrade stuff.
Okay. So some type of currency or something used to upgrade. And we can already see it looks like the first level. It's interesting too. I wonder if you can like partially fill it, because you see 30 out of 20. So I wonder if the 20 gets you automatically to 2 or what. But you can see supposedly on a legendary, the first star gives you 15 of all these stats: HP, defense, attack, resistance 30, speed 10. That'd be pretty crazy if I'm reading this right. 10 plus 10 speed on the first star. Or I wonder if this is like, no, that would make sense, because 6, you couldn't go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because then what's the 6? Maybe the 6 is the passive? I guess we'll have to wait and see.
stuff. You know, all of these
Oh,
things,
I want to go back to that.
the ability to upgrade stuff.
So level 0. Okay. But that's a different star than this one right here, whatever this is. So this adds to HP, defense, and attack as well. And then I don't know what this is symbolizing. Some type of skill, maybe?
You know, all of these things.
Okay, so you can upgrade the skills. That makes sense. Sort of like using books in a raid. 40,000 gold. Okay. Guess we'll have to see how that scales as well.
Things are now actually live.
Oh, I think we've seen these before. Attacks 2 enemies, 110%. Attack plus 7% max HP. If enemy dies, has 30% chance to place fear for 1 turn on all enemies. Okay. So yeah, that's a very powerful skill.
The skills have got like the details.
Oh, that was interesting. Let's go back. No, too far. Whatever. Embalming Blast attack. All enemies 200% attack plus 2 or 20 max HP has a 75% chance to place corrupt and I said intelligence before, but it's not. I think it's a initiate. I forget what they call. I think it's related to speed for 2 turns. Okay, that's pretty strong. Let's see if he clicks the details. Yeah. For 4 turns. Wait. 4 and 4, but it says 2 here. So what's the 4? Maybe that's the level of the skill. Maybe there's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 being the highest. Maybe that's how they indicate, weak or strong versions within their game.
It's not all fully like complete, but it's starting to get to a point where
looks pretty good though, right?
Obviously, where we need to get it.
I wish I could mess around with it
for a beta release. So there's a whole ton. There's probably something like 60 or 70 heroes that are done that are just not currently in this build, but they're in a different build. So it won't be long before you'll see like this just massively explode. But things like sorting are here. Filtering's not working yet, but sorting is done. So yeah, whole bunch of like little things which all take time, right? They all need to be fleshed out. We've got different campaign areas now.
I think we have seen this before. So yeah, obviously this is not done the underlying part, it's just white. But this looks somewhat done, the flags. And I assume they'll change these banners somewhat, but to me, even if they left it like this, as long as they adjust the coloring with respect to whatever the bottom is going to end up being, I would actually be fine with that.
So I do need to apply a cheat code, and then I can unlock all the different campaign areas. So we do have maps now for most of these areas to some degree, but the Aru one you've seen a billion times at this point. Khajiit is the one where...
Okay, so obviously you don't have the background, but you can see. Watch when I unpause and he's talking. You can actually see. It looks like these branches moving. This isn't even within the stage. This is just a map of the stage, which is definitely a step up from something like Raid where they don't do that. Now, is that necessarily bad? No. But I do like that attention to detail they're putting into it.
We've now done a bit more work.
Oh, it kind of went.
All of this is
you
just
saw it.
Obviously not right. But we haven't done the artwork for that yet. And then this is really what I want.
Yeah, he'll talk about it a bit, but look at this area when it's running, and you can see sort of, I don't know what it's supposed to be, just dust in the air, but it looks cool.
I wanted to show you. So some of the work
and the
that
lava
Damon has
or
been doing
fire or whatever that is,
to take this new level, the Khajiit level, and optimize it for mobile. So I'm playing on PC, so it doesn't, my PC can handle tons more than what I'm throwing at it right now. But on mobile, when we first had this level with this kind of like rolling mist, particles coming off of here on the right, almost like petals falling in the wind over here, and moving lava, all that type of stuff. is hardcore on your devices, right? So there was like a heat map for FPS concerns on mobile, and
Okay.
basically it was like white hot over the whole map. Damon has reconfigured and re-optimized the whole level so that it now run on devices which are a few years old and still feel
That's
very
good.
sweet. So
Obviously,
it's
on
done
as
some
many
great work, and
devices
obviously,
as possible.
if you start to look at the reason why we call this our beautiful corner is because it starts to encompass everything that we want to feel when we're playing this level. And what I'm saying there is immersion, for it to feel like it's the right environment for that type of enemy or boss or whatever it's going to be. All of the subtle type of lighting stuff that we're doing here, and yeah, ultimately, obviously, we can still play the game and all that type of stuff, but it was more about design of level than
Some good looking
being about
gameplay, right?
the characters and their abilities at this point.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
this is the type
The
of thing that
Super
we're
Saiyan
doing.
beam.
It's going to break now because this one is currently busted. But I thought, why not show?
Oh, that looks kind of cool. So they have kind of this overall background of a volcano or something. And they're going to put something over top of it is what it looks like. I believe this is the samurai character over here and not Musashi, but I could be wrong.
Show you the busted part as well. Basically, we just teleported to the wrong place. But all of the fighting still
Steel
works.
turn meter.
But this is the type of stuff
Okay.
that, honestly, this is why we're in this kind of like closed alpha stage internally right now, because we don't want you guys
Fear. Okay, so
to
that's probably that
experience this
first
when we have
skill
a
we just
beta.
read
So,
about.
we're kind of like working through all this stuff. But yeah, really, really.
So see, there's the number of the amount of turns. So I wonder what that 4 was on that skill, like when he brought up the details. I'm going to say it's still related to the strength of the debuff or buff somehow. The level of it, I should say.
Really fun. It's great to kind of get these different environments going, and yeah, I'm kind of psyched honestly for you guys testing it in the new year when we get the beta out there.
Although, oh, you can't see it because I paused but you can kind of see there's a 4 there. So maybe or not a 4, there's a 2. So maybe the 4 is just a placeholder and they'll have to change those. And then you click details, it just shows this for 2 turns, that for 2 turns, etc.
But that's going to be it for this video. Bugs and all, I've been Simon from Fate.
All right, man. That was pretty cool to see some of that new in-game stuff, especially the effects on that Kajiki stage you called their pretty corner. Don't even remember everything I said. Let me know down below. I think it was first one was, would you like to see creature characters that you can actually control instead of just enemies in the game? Because I don't think we've seen any. And 2, what starter character would you like to see that they've revealed, or possibly a new one? This is HLock. Thanks for watching. See you later. Bye.